Welcome to Timeless Chronicles. Explore history and fascinating stories, unintentionally haunting historical photos and what they reveal about the past. Subscribe now for captivating content that takes you beyond time. Timeless Chronicles, history, mysteries. Enjoy this video. A pile of bison skulls, 1892. Taken at the Michigan Carbon Works factory in Rougeville, the pile of bison skulls in this photo was slated to be processed and used in making products like bone glue, fertilizer, bone ash, bone char, and bone charcoal. A young mother and her deceased infant, 1901. The image of mother and child immortalizes both Otylia Januszewska and her recently deceased son, Alexander. It also attests to the Victorian-era practice of taking post-mortem photos to honor the dead and express grief. A sleeping mummy trader, 1875. Egyptian mummies have always fascinated people, and in the Middle Ages, there was actually a market for mummified bodies. Merchants transported the specimens from Egypt to Europe, where they were used in a variety of ways. The iron lung ward of a hospital in California, 1953. Poliomyelitis, often simply called polio, is a viral disease that traces to antiquity, but outbreaks during the 19th and early 20th centuries exacerbated fear of the affliction. American physician Jonas Salk developed a vaccine for polio in 1953, although it was not available for widespread use in the U.S. until 1955. A young factory worker in Maine, 1911. She's only 9 years old and, according to records, was a worker at a seafood canning company in Maine. Alongside other members of her family, Nan de Gallant spent long hours during the summer months hard at work. Despite this, she was described as a spoiled child in the photo's title. This may have been because her work in a factory was irregular instead of a daily happening. Two men making a death mask, c. 1908. Made to capture the likeness of a deceased individual, a death mask was usually taken from a cast or impression of a corpse. Death masks, like the elaborate ones in ancient Egypt, were crafted for funerary purposes to facilitate one's journey through the afterlife. Soldiers receiving medical aid during WWI, 1916. The facial expression of the soldier in the trench looking directly at the camera is among the images demonstrative of the so-called thousand-yard stare. He looks truly traumatized due to what he has experienced and seen on the battlefield. The Wrangel Island Expedition Team, 1921. The team that set out for Wrangel Island in 1921 included Canadian Alan Crawford and Americans Lorne Knight, Fred Moorer, and Milton Gall. They also had a kitten named Victoria, Vic, with them, and were guided by a young Inuit woman named Ada Blackjack. Criminal Alvin Karpus's fingertips, 1936. Alvin Karpus was a career criminal who was nicknamed Creepy on account of his unnerving smile. During the 1930s, he was associated with the Barker Gang and was involved in several high-stakes kidnappings. After he and his criminal cohort left fingerprints at two noteworthy kidnappings in 1933, Karpus had his fingerprints altered by Joseph Doc Moran, a physician who worked for the Chicago underworld. Inger Jacobson and Jackie Hein Bulow Jansen, 1954. What may appear to be an odd picture is perhaps another day in the life of singer Inger Jacobson and her husband, Jackie Hein Bulow Jansen, whose stage name was simply Jackie Bulow. Jacobson was a popular singer in her native Norway, even representing her country in the Eurovision competition in 1962. Bulow, a native of Denmark, performed as a ventriloquist. A still life featuring plaster casts, c. 1839. Frenchman Hippolyte Bayard was among the earliest photographers and claimed to have invented the medium. Alongside Louis-Jacques Mondé Daguerre and William Henry Fox Talbot,